If I'm constantly giving my energy to make others richer, happier, more successful, without receiving anything in return, I am not living for myself. I am living for somebody else. When I'm on the right path, working towards something meaningful, something purposeful, my brain keeps me fueled with that energy, fueled with motivation, and that sweet dopamine that drives me forward. Think of it as Jack Sparrow's compass from Pirates of the Caribbean. It doesn't show you where you are, but where you truly want to be. Move. Shake yourself up. Run, jump, get outside, do whatever it takes. Move. Engage in any kind of physical activity. Literally, any. Even if you feel completely drained, trust me, just try it. Any lack of energy and lack of motivation is a health issue. Consider your attention as a commodity. In today's hyper-connected world, your attention is being bought and it's being sold. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Unshakable People podcast, where we shape minds and build leaders through conversations that change lives. Today's conversation is going to be very interesting, and it's something that, in my opinion, so many people today struggle with. And in this episode, I will try to give you as much information as possible about energy, what it is, where do we get it from, how do we accumulate it within ourselves, what are the resources available to us, and how do we make sure that we always have this energy. We have the energy to create, we have the energy to live a fulfilling life that we all strive for, that we all want, that we all need in a way. My name is Kaspari, and I'm extremely happy that you found time to join me today. Stay tuned. Where do we get the energy from? Sometimes we feel lazy, we sabotage ourselves, we procrastinate, we lack strength, and I think we just don't have the motivation to go forward. When I talk about energy, I am mostly referring to that resourceful state where I feel good, where I feel strong, capable, effective, where I feel smart, and I'm grounded in myself, full of energy, vibrant emotions, joy, excitement, or even negative emotions like anger or rage. But still, nonetheless, I feel empowered and capable. I love to call this my energy, when I feel like it's bursting out of me and I'm ready to direct it towards achieving what I want, being with the people I want to be with, and doing the things I want to do. But when I say I don't have energy, or when I complain about not having any, what I'm really talking about is that negative, heavy state that is familiar to so many people. I feel drained. I feel burnt out, unmotivated. I stop caring about myself. I just stop doing anything. I don't want anything. Even when I'm lying down, doing absolutely nothing, I still find ways to criticize myself. I still find ways to find flaws in what I do and what I think. And I think to myself, why am I lying here? I'm not even doing anything right. Or I should be more enlightened by now. And I beat myself up, telling myself that at my age, I should be doing more. I should be striving for more. Because look, everybody else is doing so much and here I am. Even in the moments of rest, I keep tearing myself down, digging myself deeper. My emotions suffer, pulling me into destructive, heavy feelings, which I then make even worse with negative thoughts about myself, negative thoughts about others, the world, the universe, the future. I start thinking, I'm not good enough, or other people are no good. They are not quick enough, or they don't read my mind well enough. And the world starts feeling unjust. Where are my trucks full of cash? Where's the user manual for my body and my mind? It feels like I've been handed all of this, but no one gave me instructions, the user manual. So I keep making mistake after mistake. And it feels unfair. And to be very honest, painful. And it's sad. And then I start comparing myself to these mythical people who seem to have boundless energy, who you see all over your social media feed. They do everything they want. They smile with their perfect teeth. They wake up well-rested, work out 6 times a day, meditate 5 times a day, run 10 businesses, all 7 figures, of course, have perfect relationships and raise a dozen kids, all of whom are already PhDs by the time they are in the kindergarten. And I start wondering to myself, what is their secret? Do they have some special energy maybe? Or a hidden button somewhere to press? Or maybe they have some magic formula? Were they handed a user manual at birth while I wasn't? And that user manual had all the cheat codes to life. But the truth is, my body, my brain, my psyche allocate exactly the amount of energy I need to meet my needs. My needs, not someone else's. And the key is to understand that energy is provided to help us satisfy our needs, not to make us rich, not to make us famous or perfect. It's not there to make me obedient, for example. It's not there to eat my porridge or to be a good boy or girl. No, it's for satisfying my needs, the ones my body and mind require, be it hunger, thirst, social connection, emotional fulfillment, you name it. We have emotional needs. We need to be inspired. We need to create, to work, to express ourselves. And if I'm not using my resources to meet these needs, if I'm scattering my energy or pouring it into the wrong things, if I'm betraying myself by ignoring my emotions and my needs, then I'm living someone else's life. It's not my path. If I'm constantly giving my energy to make others richer, happier, more successful, without receiving anything in return, I am not living for myself. I am living for somebody else. And my brain starts to notice that. It's like pouring all your energy into something toxic, like consuming harmful content, living in a cycle of anxiety, spending your energy on things that make life worse for others without making it better for yourself. If I don't take care of my health or treat my body like a rental car, just making sure not to get fined, then surely enough, my mind and body decide I'm no longer a good investment, and they stop sending me energy because I'm just wasting it. I'm wasting it. I'm pouring it out on nothing. And they shut down, forcing me to lie down and reflect on my actions. How does that sound? And that's when we say, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. I'm depressed. I don't have any motivation. My brain has stopped the energy flow. Because why waste it? If I keep draining my resources, so it pulls the plug, making me just lie there in bed and think about what I'm doing wrong. Because at some point, something needs to change. And my energy dwindles just enough to go to work, buy groceries, just enough to survive, but not enough to ask myself, what do I really want? And even that, figuring out what I want starts to feel like some kind of superhero ability. And indeed, it can feel like something extremely demanding. But what difference does it make? What I want or what inspires me? I don't have the energy for it anyway. The most I can master is sitting in front of the computer watching another episode of some show, and even that can feel exhausting. I'm spending my energy living a life that's not mine, a life that isn't making me any healthier, happier, richer, or more aware. My brain sees these and thinks, oh, they have enough energy for self-destruction. Let's shut this down. If I'm lounging with beer and chips, the brain sees that hustle and thinks, this is not sustainable. It's like the energy keeps getting cut off more and more until you hit a dead end. And that's inevitable. And at this point, it's easy to stop complaining and telling yourself and others, I don't have energy. I don't have motivation. I feel stuck under this glass ceiling. And I can't change my life because I just don't have what it takes. If only I had the energy, everything would light up. But the truth is, I don't have it. I lack it. I feel it. And the main point about energy is that it is in itself part of a trap. When we complain about not having energy, we are likely to be already in that trap, where cause and effect have been reversed. The cart is before the horse. I'm not doing anything. I don't want anything. I don't have relationships. I don't talk to anyone. I'm not changing my life or paying attention to what interests me because I don't have energy. But I don't have energy because I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving, not paying attention to what I want or like, not interacting with others. I'm not setting any goals, and obviously I'm not achieving them. Do you see the difference? When I am leaving someone else's life, or I'm not fulfilling my own needs, or I'm just ignoring them altogether, that's when I start losing my way. That's when I know that I am on a wrong path. For example, maybe I feel that I need to learn how to earn more money. Right now, right this minute, this is what I feel is important. Or I may feel that it's time to take better care of my health, or that I should get in better physical shape, for example, look and feel good, maybe join a gym, take up some Pilates, Zumba classes, or whatever it is, whatever catches my interest. But instead, I find myself responding to some neurotic need to help others, putting their needs above my own. It's like a safety mask analogy. You have to put on your own mask first before you can help anyone else, like in the airplane. But here I am, giving all my money to someone who is just wallowing in their struggles and not doing anything to change their life, to actually act on the problem, to even identify the problem to begin with. Or I may stay connected to people who only drain me, who devalue my efforts intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't matter. Or maybe I keep working in a job where I'm bullied or belittled, where I don't feel valued, and yet I still stay. And I don't even stop to ask myself, would I feel better somewhere else? Maybe I should change that job, and maybe I should be looking for a better treatment. All I have shown you. Now, this is what leaving someone else's life looks like. Or rather, what not living your own life looks like. It's like the resources my brain, psyche, and body give me are being mismanaged. I'm not spending them on me, and that's the problem. See, here is how the cycle works. I first need to start feeling a need. That's what arises first. And that's a signal from my body and my psyche that something is missing. A need is a void that needs to be filled. Maybe it's food, maybe it's affection, recognition, or even something as simple as a new laptop or a ginger cat. I don't know. Anything. Whatever it is, it's my need. And my brain and body give me the resources to go out and satisfy that need. And that's when I start focusing on the things and places that could help me meet those needs. My attention naturally shifts towards where I might find what I'm looking for, like where I can get a hug, or where I can be praised, or even where to find the best dumplings in town. It can be really anything. And this is a process. My feelings of frustration or need start guiding me, guiding my actions, guiding my thoughts, my attention and behavior. They become directed towards fulfilling my needs. My emotions kick in to help me act effectively. For instance, if someone steps on my foot, right? The appropriate reaction might be irritation or anger because you feel pain. And if something dangerous is happening nearby, my natural emotional response might be fear, prompting me to protect myself or move to a safer place. And that's my need for safety that's kicking in. And at that moment, my body and mind give me the energy, the motivation, the resources that are necessary to take action and meet my needs, whether it's jumping out of harm's way, signing up for a new course, writing a resume, networking with someone who can help me earn more money. Whatever it is, if it's my need and if it's genuine, my entire organism is giving me energy to meet that need. Even if I don't get it right immediately, even if I fail initially, My brain notices I'm on the right path and gives me a shot of dopamine and says, keep going. You're doing great. You'll get there. And when I finally reach my goal, when my expectations align with reality, I get that reward. And that's how my brain reinforces these healthy, natural pathways. I've learned how to be happier. I've learned how to be healthier and more financially stable. But when I stray from this path, if I fall for tricks, if I'm being manipulated, for example, or if I find myself in a toxic situation where I'm not getting healthier or richer, my brain starts turning off the tap. The interest fades. The dopamine supply runs low. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I can't find the motivation to move forward. And this is when I start feeling lazy, when I start feeling apathetic or stuck under that glass ceiling. It's when I start saying to myself, this just isn't my day. And I'll start a new life on Monday. But deep down, my psyche and brain, they don't see any reason for me to keep doing what I'm doing because it won't lead to anything valuable for me, because so far the result wasn't great. And if I keep lying to myself, if I stay, for example, in relationships that hurt me, thinking it's better to stay in that relationship than being alone, or if I convince myself that things will somehow magically get better, I am betraying my own interests and my own values. If I'm doing work that means nothing to me, my brain cuts off the energy supply and I feel lazy. I feel unmotivated and nothing I do matters. Nothing I do has value or purpose. My brain doesn't see a reason to give me resources if there is no reward at the end. It's not a fool. And that's why we experience burnout, apathy, procrastination. It's our brain's way of saying, why keep investing energy, a valuable resource, if there is no point, if you have no purpose? And when my actions no longer align with my needs or values, the system shuts down. But when I'm on the right path, working towards something meaningful, something purposeful, my brain keeps me fueled with that energy, fueled with motivation, and that sweet dopamine that drives me forward. It gives me all of the necessary resources on autopilot, just because there is a goal, just because there is a purpose. And so the inner conflicts begin. Splitting, health problems, neurosis, emotional struggles, and many more. These issues inevitably lead to poor outcomes. If I'm deceiving myself, I won't achieve the results that truly satisfy me because I'm walking the wrong path. I am living the wrong life, the life of not my own, but somebody else's. On the other hand, when I'm on the right path, I get the results I want. I get money, I get a fulfilling career, I get stronger self-confidence, stable internal support, and healthy, supportive relationships. I eventually feel satisfaction, a sign that even though I might have been feeling my way in the dark, I was heading in the right direction. I was still going in the right direction. I was doing the right thing. It's like playing the game, hot and cold. I can't always see the root clearly, but I can sense it. Maybe I once set a goal that truly excites me, and now, in the dark, there is some guiding star that appears, helping me stay on that course, because I once set this as my goal. I can reflect on past experiences. What activities gave me energy? Which ones felt meaningful, purposeful? What was it that brought me joy and a sense of purpose? And these are critical questions that help me adjust my path toward goals that actually matter. Now, this goal-setting process, this cleansing of the mind from unnecessary baggage, like neurosis, resentments, toxic emotions, it is essential. It is crucial. And once I clear that out, I can see the star, the guiding light towards where I need to go. And I naturally start to feel whether I'm getting closer to my goal or not. Is that dream car, for example, or career goal, do they become more tangible? Or am I moving further away from what really matters to me? Whether I feel energized, motivated, or weighed down by procrastination and self-sabotage tells me if I'm on the right track. Our energy, our motivation, these are our inner compass. These are the things that we need not take for granted, but see them as the guiding light. That sense of, is this right for me? Whether I feel alive, driven, or drained, this is my internal feedback. But to get it, you need to ask yourself questions. This compass doesn't always point where you are currently headed. It points to where your values and needs are. Think of it as Jack Sparrow's compass from Pirates of the Caribbean. It doesn't show you where you are, but where you truly want to be. It doesn't show you your location now, but it shows you where you're headed. So if you're feeling stuck and you say to yourself, no energy, no motivation, unsure of what to do, this is what your state is. It's important to pay attention to those internal signals. If you notice triggers like inactivity, feeling like you're not producing anything, not creating anything meaningful, or you can't find answers to the big why questions that you might have, this is the time to reassess. This is the time to reevaluate and ask yourself questions. Be brutally honest. Are you feeling lonely? Lacking those connections or meaningful relationships? Do you feel like you're constantly at odds with yourself in a way? There is an internal tug of war with different parts of you pulling in opposite directions. One part of you might say, get up and go, while another part says, what's the point? There is no point. There is no purpose. And another voice might tell you that others should come to you, or that the world is unjust. But this internal struggle is the gist. And this is the one thing that leaves you feeling stuck, like the fable of the swan, the pike and the crawfish, pulling in different directions but going nowhere. The result? Nothing good, I'm afraid. Health problems, emotional shutdown, unmet needs. And the more this persists, the worse it gets. It doesn't go anywhere by itself. It doesn't heal itself. This state needs attention. So what can be done? See, for adults, energy, motivation, and resources they all come from several key areas: your body, your work, your social connections, your emotions, and your goals. 5 key things. If any of these areas aren't functioning, energy will be blocked. If you neglect your body, for example, and you're treating it like a rental, running it into the ground, it will eventually fail. If you don't care of your body, don't take care of your body, it will eventually fail. You'll burn out your dopamine system, your serotonin system, your endorphins. You'll destroy the very mechanisms that keep you motivated. And when your body gives out, energy will disappear entirely. Your work and your activities are another source of energy. Energy is given to us for action. If we're doing nothing, or if we stop ourselves from acting for various reasons, whatever these may be, over time, the energy supply dwindles. People, our social connections, are essential. We need to feel connected to society, to people, to things that we do, to concepts. We are social beings, and without interaction with others, we suffer. It's a fact. Our brain loves to flood us with energy when we socialize, when we connect with others, form all sorts of relationships, or when we communicate. And these are complex but rewarding processes, which are absolutely crucial and essential. Emotions are also crucial. They are signals from our psyche about what we really need and what's important. If we don't process or express our emotions, we suppress our needs one way or another. It's inevitable. For example, if I'm angry because someone crossed my boundaries, for example, but I think to myself, I shouldn't be angry. I'm above that. I shouldn't be paying attention to this. I just should walk away. I am suppressing a vital emotion. If I feel afraid, for example, but I think to myself, boys don't cry, or girls shouldn't ask for things, I am denying my emotional reality. We start to feel shame for having emotions, or even worse, we might be told we're guilty for feeling angry or sad. I know many people can relate to that, unfortunately. And this is something that we have been told since we were very young. And these suppressed emotions eventually become toxic. They poison us from the inside and no longer serve their purpose of guiding us. Emotional freedom, like learning to understand and untangle these emotional knots, is essential. It's an emotional intellect in a way. And when I suppress my emotions, I suppress parts of myself, and my energy vanishes. And over time, I leave pieces of myself behind. Because every time I suppress some emotion, I tear a small part from me. I leave behind pieces of my needs, parts of my self-concept, parts of my identity, in the form of unmet needs and blocked reactions. And like that joke about the moose, it just gets worse and worse. And then there are goals. If I'm not setting my own goals properly, all my energy goes towards achieving the goals of others. And this already is self-betrayal. If you find yourself working towards someone else's goals, and you can't answer the simple question, where do I want to be in 1 to 5, 10 years' time? When your motivation is not there, your energy will fade. You have to sell, quite literally, your goal to your brain, like a pitch to investors, because your brain is the guy that is supposed to invest in your goal. Imagine a startup founder explaining a problem in the world and how their product solves it. That's what you're supposed to do. The investors nod along, agreeing the problem is real and important, and it's the same when you sell a goal to yourself. When you sell a goal to your brain, you need to be very specific about everything, about the reasons. And you tell your brain, this is a real problem, and solving it will make us happier. It will make us healthier or wealthier. It will benefit us. And then you make the pitch, I'm capable of solving this. My team and I can do it. We can achieve this goal with time, not immediately, but we can. And your brain, like an investor, will allocate energy. It will find it. And it will allocate motivation to help you move forward. And if you succeed in taking the first steps, you'll get more energy for the next round. And so it goes, again and again. Your goals must be convincing enough to your psyche. Just try to make that picture in your mind. When your brain buys into the goal, you'll get that internal spark, a guiding star lighting up your path. So you need to be very convincing. And this sense of purpose, that's what organizes thoughts and your emotions. And even the process of thinking about your goal becomes energizing and inspiring. You feel a deep connection to your goal and to your actions. Whether you're studying for a degree or whether you're working out at the gym, these become steps toward that goal. And everything becomes meaningful because you know where you're headed. You just sold that meaning to your brain. Now, I no longer struggle with motivation. I don't have problems with laziness or procrastination. My life becomes more meaningful and structured. If I realize that on my path, I am lacking some tools, some skills or expertise, say in building a business, I might need to explore project management systems like Scrum or Agile. I know exactly what I need. And I'm asking for these tools, and I'm going and getting these tools. I don't need to convince myself to pursue these things separately. I understand they are essential for achieving my bigger goals. It's like putting something away for a special occasion. Don't touch this. It's for the New Year's. Or don't take that cutlery set. It's only for the guests. I simply take what I need and voila, I'm already motivated. I don't have any inner conflicts. But that's only because I've done the emotional work. I've prepared myself for this. I've sorted through my feelings, like we do in emotional freedom practices that I teach. Clarified what is important for me. I've identified what activities give me energy and fulfillment. And I've set goals in such a way that even thinking about these goals charges me up. It makes me look forward to achieving these goals because they're exciting, because I see them clearly. And there is no longer any question of lacking energy or motivation. It's just there. I don't need any secret formula. I don't need any special pill. I don't need any special mantra or some astrological alignment. Those questions no longer apply to me. It's irrelevant. I don't think about where can I get this energy from. It's already there. I wake up full of joy and energy, eager to move towards my goals and get along with my day. And I wake up happy. If you are in a place right now where you're wondering, what should I do next? Or if you need a practical instruction guide, here's a quick step based on everything we have discussed so far. What recharges an adult person? And the answer to this question is the body, action, people, emotions, feelings, and clear goals. Move. Move. Shake yourself up. Run, jump, get outside, do whatever it takes. Move. Engage in any kind of physical activity. Literally any. Even if you feel completely drained, trust me, just try it. Any movement, whether it's burpees or a plank, any will give you a bit of an energy boost. It's like jump-starting a car. When you engage in physical activity, you also pull yourself out of your head and away from the thoughts that drain your energy. Movement helps break the cycle of overthinking or rumination. And it actually frees you from the trap of toxic thoughts. Then, second thing, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Right this minute, here and now, in the moment. Name the emotion. What is it connected to? How can you process it? It's never true that you feel nothing at all. There is always something. Paying attention to your feelings brings you back to the present moment. From maybe somewhere far away in the future, it brings you back to now, pulling you out of any mental fog or destructive thoughts you might have about the future that worries you. Do you know what's one of the quickest ways to weaken someone else's energy? It's actually to distract them from their present moment, from their here and now. For instance, if you start talking about other people, criticize their behavior or focus on past regrets or your future fears, that's when you distract yourself from here and now and you go and you pull yourself away from what's really important, from what's actually happening. It pulls you out of your present and into anxiety, into a potential worry. But if you want to stay energized, you need to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? You need to tune into that emotion. Notice that sensations and explore what they are connected to. If you're hungry, if you're cold, if you're thirsty, all these feelings, they will give you the energy to fulfill your needs. If you're thirsty, you will have enough energy to go and get yourself a drink. If you're hungry, you will find some resources within you to go and get yourself some food. Or, for example, if you feel bored, there's a signal that you are missing excitement or you're missing change in your life. And how can you bring something new into your life in this case? Maybe go see a movie, meet some new people, organize a get-together. If you are feeling lonely, your body will drive you to seek connection, affection, or warmth from other people. Your body will strive to get that from the outside. When you reconnect with your emotions, there's no more laziness. You're back on track. You're moving in alignment with your needs. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Not tomorrow, not next year, not generally, but right now. And if you can clearly articulate your needs, whether it's world domination or just wanting to go for a massage or get yourself a spa day, you can understand what will energize you. Take that action and you will get energy from it. By doing this, you restore your connection to your energy source, plugging yourself back in, literally into the socket. The next question you want to ask yourself, how can I take care of myself right now, right this minute? Again, not generally, not sometime later, now. What can I do to make my life happier, healthier, wealthier, more enjoyable? This approach prevents us from slipping into dependency. And that's a very important concept. If I've been lying to myself, or if I've been betraying my own values, doing something that doesn't correspond to it, this is how I get back on my path. Healthy self-care begins here. Now, if I take care of myself first, then I can care for others if I choose to. But you need to take care of yourself first. Do I have a clear picture of my goals? Or at least a hypothesis about what I want? What inspires and excites me? These questions are important. Maybe I should look around and see what sparks admiration in others. If something someone else does excites me, it's probably aligned with my internal criteria. If psychologists or stand-up comedians inspire me, that's because it resonates with my needs. If I admire how someone earns and spends their money, for example, that's because it speaks to something that's valuable to me, something that's in me that sees it to be valuable. And through this, I begin to gather an image of my goals. After shedding emotional baggages, getting rid of it, I can now clarify what is meaningful to me. For instance, I might say, a year from now, I want to achieve this result, whatever it is. And simply thinking about it, me already with energy and excitement, because I want that result. I need that result. I don't have to force myself to wake up in the morning or push through with self-discipline and punishment. It all flows naturally. It doesn't mean you don't need to make any effort, but the excitement and the motivation is definitely there and is definitely helping you go through. What can I do today that has meaning for me? What would move me closer to my goal? Make me healthier, happier, and wealthier. And this prevents inaction. And this prevents stagnation. It's important to break down my goal into small, manageable steps. For example, petting my cat might seem small, but it adds richness to my life. Hugging my child, I love them, makes my life fuller and healthier, even though the very act of hugging or petting is very small. But if I don't ask myself these questions, I might forget why I'm living this day. What's the purpose? I ask myself, what can I do right now that has meaning? And this leads to real, tangible actions that will fill me with energy, make me stronger, make me healthier, make me more prosperous. And with that, let's get started. This is a very good starting point. And last, but certainly not least, I want to talk about who interests you, the kind of people you'd like to get closer to, the people whose qualities or achievements you feel are missing from your life and that maybe you would like to have. Maybe in your circle, you don't have enough entrepreneurs, for example, or you lack, I don't know, athletes, runners, whatever it may be. I want you to take a moment to assess and then think about how you can take steps to move closer to these types of people. Maybe you need to join some Facebook groups, or maybe you need to attend some networking events, or maybe you should go to a sports club or a gym or whatever it may be, to dance lessons. And beyond the things that energize us and the actions, there is the other side of the coin. There always is. The issues that drain our energy. So why things might not be working for us. For example, you could be physically exhausted. If your personal management of resources has been extreme or overly harsh, if you have been overly harsh to yourself, if you haven't been kind to yourself, if you're a workaholic, for example, and if this state feels more like a norm than a problem, then your energy might be running out just because of that. If for any reason you can't even remember the last time you took a break or went on vacation, and this happened to me. When I was in my corporate career, I used to skip vacations all the time and sacrifice my time for work. That's what I used to do. And it didn't seem a problem to me at that point. Before I actually got burnt out. But if your mindset is in a shape, I'll rest when I'm dead, then yes, you might be exhausted, you might be burnt out, and all these are good signs that you are. And this exhaustion could stem from a belief system that prevents you from resting or enjoying life, like an old script from your childhood, from your upbringing, that teaches you to push yourself beyond your own limits. And that's an important concept. You need to understand your own limits. You need to set them for yourself. And even if everything else is in place, you more or less have the life that you like and you think you need. Physical exhaustion, it's not going anywhere. This alone can deplete your energy, leaving you running on fumes. And another huge drain on your energy is unresolved emotional conflicts. These could be unfinished conversations or relationships where you never got closure. It can be anything, and it can be as old as it can. It just doesn't matter. If it's unresolved, it will remain there. It's not going anywhere. You might still be arguing in your head with someone long after the actual disagreement ended. You have this internal dialogue going on, and it just drains your energy. And these lingering conflicts continue to bleed your energy, especially if they involve boundary issues, for example, where someone crossed your boundaries and you didn't fully defend yourself. Now you have that regret, and it keeps you in a state of inner conflict with emotions simmering unresolved. And it's not going anywhere. Unresolved past trauma, especially childhood trauma, can also sap your strength. If the people responsible for your safety, like your parents, carers, guardians, were the ones causing you fear, anxiety, this creates a state of internal uncertainty. When children are subjected to inconsistent punishment or emotional neglect, and this is a scientific fact. For example, children are being told, go think about your behavior. or if they're being threatened with punishments like the policeman will come for you. Parts of their psyche can get stuck in this anxiety, and it's not something that is evident on the surface. And as adults, this leaves us feeling like we are incomplete, as if parts of us were left behind in these unresolved situations. If you've experienced numerous unresolved situations, numerous unresolved conflicts, by the time you reach adulthood, you might feel fragmented, like only a small piece of yourself remains intact and everything else is detached. The good news here is that through inner work, you can gather these lost pieces and reintegrate them into your life. But it's hard. It is hard work. But by revisiting and healing your childhood wounds or any unresolved issues with your parents or anybody else, you can patch up the emotional holes that have been draining your energy, and this would help enormously. See, toxic emotions are a significant energy drain. It's a huge that drains your energy. And these are feelings like shame, guilt, or some deep-rooted beliefs that you are not okay or you are not enough. Toxic shame makes you feel like something is fundamentally wrong with you. You feel broken. Whereas guilt tells you that you owe the world, that you need to constantly atone for some unnamed wrongdoing, making it hard for people to feel at peace. And these toxic emotions often carry a sense of debt, some emotional obligations or unfulfilled expectations that follow you into every new relationship that you enter, every new job that you take, or every new experience. You bring along this baggage, and it taints every interaction that you make in life. Working through these emotional debts is a crucial step in healing. By letting go of toxic emotions and completing unfinished emotional business, you free yourself from the weight that has been holding you down. This allows you to stop dragging the past into your present. And in addition to toxic emotions, unresolved trauma can lead to a split in your personality. And unfortunately, it has become a pretty common case. You might find yourself pulled in different directions. Part of you wants success and happiness, while another part insists on playing small or staying in a state of suffering, being a victim. And this internal conflict can result in polarizing behavior, outwardly projecting one extreme, like, I'm the best, I'm successful, I can do anything, while inwardly harboring the opposite belief, like I'm a failure, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm worse than others. And if you encounter someone who seems to be exaggerating like a particular trait, like always boasting about success or being overly righteous, chances are they are trying to suppress some hidden opposite trait. And this is called the shadow, a concept from Jungian psychology. The more someone tries to amplify one side of their personality, the more they are likely suppressing something else on the opposite end. This is an absolute fact. And I really hope that after this conversation today, you might go and read more about this concept, Carl Jung and his concept of shadow. And finally, if you are experiencing severe mood swings, or if you feel like your health, for example, is deteriorating, it's a sure sign to check in on your physical health. Anything can be there. Hormonal imbalances, thyroid issues, or other psychological problems could be at the root of this emotional instability or lack of motivation. And if left unattended, they would only grow. They would keep growing. Always make sure to address these health concerns, because when our body is not functioning well, it's almost impossible to maintain energy, motivation, or just simply focus on personal growth. Because again, you are in a survival mode. I think it's important to reflect on the people you surround yourself with and the activities that bring you joy and the unresolved emotional baggage that might be draining your energy. And by addressing both the positive actions that can recharge you and the negative patterns that deplete you, you can regain your focus. You can rebuild your energy and move forward with clear goals and renewed motivation. Very often, it's not about extreme practices like standing on nails or taking some special supplements. It's not about that. Ever so often, it's simply about health. Lack of energy and lack of motivation is a health issue. If your thyroid isn't functioning properly, or you are experiencing a hormonal imbalance, meditation, psychology, or even therapy won't help much, because it's physical, because it's a chemical reaction. And the first priority here is to take care of your body. And this is why the body is number one out of all the factors that we have discussed. You must bring your body into balance first and foremost. You must address your nutrition, your sleep quality, the quality of your surroundings, your environment, the information that you consume and let into your brain, your emotional hygiene. And all of these areas, they need attention. And I have talked about this many times before, and I always say it. We, ourselves, need attention. And if you're ready to conduct a little self-review, I offer you to try this. Map out what your life consists of. Write it down by hand. It's important. Identify the activities that fill your time, the relationships in your life, and where you invest your attention, where most of your attention goes to. Then consider your feelings and emotions. Ask yourself, what are the predominant emotions in my life? And after you've done that, evaluate each element. Is it serving you? Is it serving you well? Is it moving you towards your goals? Is it making you stronger, healthier, happier, wealthier? What does it do? If not, what can be done for you to change it? Can you maybe reorganize your life in such a way that you eliminate these activities, even if they have become habitual? And the same goes for relationships. Review them and just ask yourself, does this particular relationship make me feel good? Or does it drag me down? Does it elevate my self-esteem? Or does it pull me lower? If you are in a toxic, dependent, or codependent relationships. What purpose are these relationships serving you? And once you have identified these relationships, maybe it's time to let some people go and allow them to move on their own path, and most importantly, allow yourself to be free from those toxins. Next, review where your attention is going. If you're constantly doom scrolling through social media, or if you're focusing on things that don't directly affect you, consider your attention as a commodity. In today's hyper-connected world, your attention is being bought and it's being sold. If you don't take care of your attention ecology, what information you allow into your life, it can drain you. You may need to physically remove yourself from certain information sources to protect yourself, like digital detox that has become very popular. And then there are your emotions. Take stock of the feelings that dominate your life and ask yourself, are they useful or are they harmful? Sometimes we get stuck in cycles of suffering for the sake of suffering without even realizing why we're doing it, because we don't ask ourselves the right questions. And this can become a habit, like constant worry or anxiety, which over time stops being a protective mechanism and becomes a tormentor. It destroys you. It starts destroying your psyche, your inner balance. And if you've been spending a lot of time on this inner work, for example, you'll start forming new habits to replace the old, more destructive ones. And these new habits will help you move more fluidly on your path. Some of our needs are fulfilled in the doing, in the process itself. For example, it's important to move physically, interact with others, make connections, engage in activities that bring us closeness and connection. But our other needs, however, are more result-driven. For instance, earning money to buy a home or achieving a professional goal brings satisfaction once it's accomplished. Either way, it's important to be grateful for our body's feedback, whether positive or negative. Feedback is feedback. It is a dialogue. It is a conversation. Thank your body, your endocrine system, and your emotional world for letting you know what needs adjustment, for giving you these precious signals. See, gratitude is a powerful antidote to toxic self-criticism. If we constantly devalue our efforts, if we constantly tell ourselves we could have done better, or what we did wasn't good enough, we quickly poison all areas of our life. And instead, even small victories should be met with gratitude. I always say, appreciate yourself. Appreciate the feedback from your emotions. Analyze, think, reflect, and you'll see that your life becomes much more fulfilling because it becomes much more informed. At any moment, and there is no universal script, no one-size-fits-all formula for success or happiness, but we all have our psyche, our emotions, and we must listen to it. Our emotions are our psyche's way of communicating with us because it doesn't have voice. And the key is not to interfere with the communication, but to listen. allowing our emotions to guide us toward a more meaningful and motivated life. When we talk about internal psychological resources or foundations that we can rely on, what we're really talking about, anything that helps us feel stronger, more confident, and capable of tackling challenges. That's it. And thanks to these internal resources, we can become more resilient when facing stress, problems, difficulties, when facing challenges, going through ups and downs in life. And in fact, throughout our life, we continuously encounter painful and traumatic experiences. It's normal. We go through conflicts, betrayals, manipulations, scandals, and more, you name it. And if we didn't have psychological resilience and internal supports, we'd be knocked down by the slightest breeze. So the more internal supports we have, the stronger we are, and the more energy we have to tackle life's challenges. And this is why the topics of energy and internal supports are two sides of the same coin. They are deeply interconnected. When we have strong, reliable psychological supports, we have plenty of energy. We burst with energy. Our activities, our day-to-day activities should focus on increasing these supports, building our confidence, and reinforcing our foundation. That's what we should be working on. At its core, these psychological supports include our beliefs about ourselves, first of all, and about others, about the world around us, about the universe. How do you view yourself? Do you love yourself or despise yourself? Do you see yourself as worthy of the best things in life, or do you feel undeserving? If you have a positive relationship with yourself, and if you believe you are worthy, like deep down inside, not in words, but in emotions, you open the door to achieving all that you desire. It's true. However cliche that might sound, you can build relationships, you can cooperate with others. Together, you could accomplish even more. The world is filled with opportunities. And I, along with other people, can achieve anything I want. I am good, I'm strong, I'm smart, and I'm resourceful. Or I can become whatever I desire. And this is my internal foundation, my anchor, giving me stability and confidence, giving me the right and the chance to sit here and talk to you on the camera. Even when I face challenges or someone tells me I'm not good enough, I can confidently dismiss it because I know my worth. If my internal foundation is strong, I look at those people and think, you have a different opinion. That's all. But I don't agree with you, and that's my right. And I would just move on without losing my balance. And the strength of this internal foundation is greatly influenced by how people are treated in their childhood, particularly in their family. If one grows up in an environment where they were devalued, manipulated, or constantly criticized, these formative years would have shaped a negative self-perfection. When we turn our attention inward rather than finding stability, we may fall into a pit of toxic shame instead of feeling confident and grounded. And that's the complete opposite. This kind of trauma can be worked through. And that's why much of the work in our brain, and that's why much of the work in my Kaspari programs begin with healing the inner child and the parental figures. That's what we do first of all in my programs. See, our strongest internal foundations are often the mental images that we hold of our parents, the inner figures of mom and dad. These representations remain powerful even as adults. And even when our parents are no longer physically present, their voices still continue to shape our thoughts. And these figures, as they existed when we were 5, 6, 7 years old, they still echo in our heads, guiding or sometimes miss based on the patterns that we have absorbed. And if those internalized parents are nurturing and supportive, they become our foundations. But on the other hand, if they are critical, neglectful, dismissive, they turn into black holes that just suck away our energy and confidence. And along with them, we carry their traumas. We carry their neuroses and limiting beliefs. This is what we call the mechanism of social inheritance. For example, if as children we observe negative reactions from our parents regarding, for example, money or success or any certain behaviors, we often internalize those reactions and make them our own. And this is resulting in subconscious limitations that inevitably hold us back. And these can manifest as life bans or prohibitions, such as don't be too successful, don't stand out, and just don't be too beautiful, too attractive, just be like everybody else. And these are deep-seated blocks that prevent us from fully living, from breathing normally. When we work on healing the inner child and our internalized parental figures, they can become reliable sources of strength. No matter what others say, my internal parents tell me I'm good. And this internal support makes me resilient enough to handle criticism, to handle rejection, and boundary violations without losing my sense of self-worth. And another aspect of our internal foundation includes the life scripts or roles that we play. And these scripts are only as useful as they are adapted. If my script is effective and leads to good results, I can rely on it. But if it consistently leads to failure or some negative outcomes, like being repeatedly betrayed or bankrupted, it's a sign that the script needs to be adjusted. And you are the only person who can do this. No one can do it for you. For example, if I enter a relationship and I continuously face betrayal in my personal relationships, it's like that the script I'm operating from is flawed. Without reviewing and correcting these scripts, we become stuck in repeating patterns, much like replaying the same old movie again and again and again on the loop. If you don't change the film, the movie would not change. But if we revise these patterns, freeing ourselves from destructive experiences or any outdated beliefs, we create a new internal foundation that supports a healthier, more adaptive way of living. And this internal foundation includes our past successes as well. And one of the fastest way to boost confidence is to connect with past achievements mentally. Just go back to the times when you were successful. Relive those moments. Reflect on moments when you succeeded. Whether it was winning a competition or excelling in school or achieving a personal milestone, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that these successes can serve as a solid foundation of confidence that you can draw from at any time. This is the source, your personal source of energy. This is your personal source of inspiration and motivation. Collect feedback from other people too. Quite literally, approach someone you trust and ask them what qualities or achievements do they admire in you. Write it down if you need to. Record them on tape and play it back. This feedback becomes part of your internal foundations, as external validation transforms into inner support. And over time, this practice builds a habit of self-reliance and confidence. You start trusting yourself and you start believing sincerely into your own inner. When facing challenges like a job interview, for example, or entering a new relationship, you can draw upon these internalized successes and get strength from there. You can also lean on your skills, your knowledge, your connections, your health, all of which are real resources that contribute to your inner foundation. And these real resources essentially include skills and knowledge, everything you can do and everything, social connections and relationships, physical health and well-being, and financial assets and time. These resources are interchangeable and they can be leveraged to achieve various goals. You can take them as you need, one at a time or combine. For instance, you can convert time into money, into relationships, or skills into new opportunities. And ultimately, building and reinforcing our internal foundations gives us the strength and the energy to move forward in life, to face challenges and not be afraid, pursue our goals with confidence and not have any of the self-doubt. And all of this can be your foundation. So if you ever feel like you're lacking internal resources or internal support, turn your attention to the first block, goal setting. Proper goal setting is directly connected to providing you with more resources. You can ask yourself, what will make me happier, healthier, wealthier? And it is essentially a way of making your life more stable and grounded. It's not just a question. It's the foundation. And key aspects of what strengthens our internal foundations, what gives us strength and confidence and allows us to handle stress, are things like how I view myself. And this includes my core beliefs about who I am. Am I a professional? Am I a capable person? Am I good? Am I smart? Am I strong? And such self-beliefs form the foundation for how I handle challenges, because that's where I'm starting from. That's where I'm coming from. Also, the parental figures and inner child. These internalized figures, my inner mother, in a father, and in a child form another critical foundation. If these figures are healthy, I can rely on them as my internal supports. Then there are life scripts, programs, and worldview. If these internalized programs are effective and lead to positive outcomes, they become a source of strength. If not, they turn into problems rather than resources. They cause more harm and distraction than do you good. Then there are skills, knowledge, and connections. My abilities, my relationships with other people, my health, my material wealth. These are all external supports that I can internalize and rely on. Then there are trusting relationships. Having a supportive network of family and social connections is a vital source of safety and strength. Belonging to a community or a group, it gives you strength because it provides psychological support. Then there is emotional intelligence. This includes the ability to recognize, process, and manage your own emotions as well as those of other people. And this makes us more adaptable and more resilient. Therefore, it gives us more strength. Then there is competence. Being able to achieve results on your own is a huge source of internal support. If you feel capable of doing something useful, of doing something purposeful, something important, something that gives value, especially things that are valuable to others, it strengthens you. If not, you feel helpless. And these feelings are inevitable. Psychological integrity is also another thing. If my psyche is whole, not fragmented or traumatized, then I'm more resilient. If I have been split by traumatic relationships or suffer from PTSD, it creates a gap that weakens my foundation. Then there is physical health. Your body is a key part of your foundation. You must ensure regular health checkups. You must get a good sleep schedule, quality nutrition, mental health hygiene. And this is why your body is often the first building block in maintaining a strong foundation. Then there are past experiences, even negative experiences. If processed and learned from, if analyzed correctly and properly, they become a source of support. Past achievements also become a powerful resource when you address them intentionally and you tap into that resource and bring it into that past resource and bring it into your here and now. Then there are goals. Having clear, genuine goals helps focus and integrate you, making you more resilient. It acts as your guiding star, structuring your thoughts, attention, behavior. Goals can give you energy and a sense of direction, and that's a huge part of our life. When you are present in the moment and when you are focused on yourself, you are at your strongest. If you ask yourself questions like, what am I feeling right now? What do I want right now? And if these questions are asked and answered properly, they ground you in the present, bringing you back to your true self. Not some fantasy, but what's actually the reality here and now. And with all this said, remember, truly resilience and energy come from being grounded in the present and connected to your inner self, here and now. Your past experiences, your goals, your relationships are all things that help you stand strong in life. They are all parts of the puzzle. Continue setting meaningful goals, nurture healthy relationships, and always work to maintain and improve your internal foundation. I sincerely hope you found value in our conversation today, and I would really like to ask you to like and subscribe to this episode and this channel, not to miss any of the future episodes, and it really does help the channel grow. I would like to take this opportunity and invite you to my Kaspari On programs at my website at katiekaspari.com if you wish to explore any of the topics that I talk about in my podcast any further and deeper. And on this, I would like to wrap up today's episode. And in the meantime, stay strong, dream big, and remember, you are unshakable. And I will see you in the next episodes of this podcast. Thank you. Bye.